Hi everyone, it's Nicole and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm here again with another video for the Vicky Booten design team. Today I'm going to cut some of these cut-aparts apart just like I did last week. This time is from a 12 by 12 sheet and I'm cutting down the whole sheet to get all the 3 by 4 cards out that I can. Not really sure which ones I'm going to use just yet, but this at least gives me some variety to choose from on my project. I also know I'm going to cut down a lot of these cut aparts here. I really love the tags, so I know for sure I want to incorporate some of those on the page, but I'm going to cut the whole sheet apart just so I have everything kind of handy and ready to go as I go through my project. And I'm also going to cut down a few of these 4 by 6 cards from a different cut apart sheet and use some of those on my project as well. So I want to have all my pieces kind of handy so that I can kind of choose what I want to use when I get going. I'm going to finish off my tags here with my crocodile just by finding the center of each of those tag tops. And then I'll trim off as well the edges of the tags so that you actually have the tag shape and not that rectangle that it is right now. And that just makes really, like, for a few dollars, you have 3 sheets of paper and you have a lot of embellishments and paper that you can choose from. So a really kind of affordable way to stretch your supplies by using these cut aparts. You can see you get a lot of good variety and there's still a lot left in that one cut apart sheet that the tags came from. For this, I'm just going to choose a neutral paper from a Storyteller because I'm going to have all the kind of action going on with the cut aparts. I want to use a neutral background, so I love this kind of distressed grid background. It's perfect for something like this. And now I'm going to actually use my old school Heidi Swap edge distressor and just kind of mess it up the edges of those myself. If you don't have an edge distressor, you can see you can do the same thing with the edge of your scissors. But because I have the tool, I'm going to use it because you got to be a little more careful with the scissors. You don't cut yourself. So I'm going to do this with all the cards, regardless if I know I'm going to use them or not. I'm picking the ones that I am drawn to immediately, and I'll probably leave a few off to the side. But I'm going to distress the edge of all of them, and if I use them, great. If I don't, I can just use them on another project. So it's no biggie. Doesn't take long to do that, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to end up doing the same thing to the 4 by 6 cards as well. So it's just to kind of keep that whole look together. I'm adding some foam tape behind my photo. This is a big, massive roll of Scotch foam tape that I like to use, especially for behind my photos, just because I use a lot. And so you can get it off Amazon. It's probably about $50 or $60 Canadian, but you get a lot. It goes a long way. So it might seem like a big hit to the budget when you get it, but it's kind of worth it. So I've done one of the 4 by 6 cards. I have some of the 3 by 4 cards done, and now I'm just trying to decide how I want to use these. The obvious thing is to make a grid with the cards, and it just wasn't vibing for me at first. So then I thought I would just start layering some of the smaller cards over the top of the larger cards, and I'm going to staple those together or adhere them together just to kind of make that layer kind of look. I'm trying to decide which way things to go, so I decided on this here. It's a bit of a grid pattern, so I'm going to use kind of one of those 4 by 6s vertically and the other one horizontally, and then I'm going to finish off with this 6 by 6 piece of paper. I really love the navy, and I thought it would go nice with that card that's in the background there, where there's the navy and the coral kind of tag. I'm going to distress the edge of this just to go along with everything else I have going on, and it's going to give me room actually for my title later on too. So I'm going to stick those pieces down. I am going to go in with my sewing machine and add some stitching along kind of the grid here of my cards that I've got started. So I'm going to go off camera really quick, as you can see, and do that. And now I'm kind of peeling up those edges of the distressed part of the paper around where my sewing is. And that's just to kind of add a little bit of texture and movement. And I'm going to actually double up my adhesive on the back of my paper just because I like the chunky look for the photo. I can't explain it another way than that. So now I'm kind of playing around with what other cards I might want to use. I'm not sure I can fit more cards on. I don't want to use anything to cover up those pretty florals on the ones I have on the bottom row there. So I'm just going to move ahead with my cut apart tags. I kind of like how these look. It's bringing a lot more color into the background there where the navy color is. And then I decided I really wanted to use the word currently off of this puffy sticker sheet, but it just was too dark, obviously, on the navy that I chose. So I actually had a scrap of this same paper that I had some leftover gesso kind of on. And so I trimmed it down, as you can see, added the sticker and a little bit of stitching. And now I'm going to use that kind of as a bit of a tag to hold my title. I'm going to layer those tags in behind that, get it all stuck down nice, and just kind of tuck it underneath my photo. I did have to move that puffy sticker up a little bit. I was just a little bit too far down. It was getting too caught underneath my photo there. So that's those cut aparts there. And then I thought, as much as I love this butterfly card itself, I'm just going to cut the butterfly out of it to make an embellishment. It's going to be the perfect size to land on the right hand side of my page. So I'm going to cut that cut apart up and use that with some foam tape. And I'm going to cut off this bottom banner too. I don't know that I end up sticking with it, but it's another great way to not throw something out that's on that cut apart sheet. You can definitely use that like in a piece of ephemera. So I'm going to stick this down with some foam on the edges and just add that around here. Thought about using the really major butterfly there that's on that other cut apart card, but it was just a little bit too big for the space that I had left. So I decided instead to go back to that strip sheet and trim down the little sentiments that you can see there. And I trimmed the strip, and then I'm just ripping off the edges to get that almost like a washi tape look to them. And I'm going to end up layering these here onto that black card. I'm just staggering tall, small, moving them around, just so they're not, straight up and down. And I'll add some stitching to those later on as well. But that kind of fills in that nice area there. If you didn't want to use this, you could actually, that'd be a great place to put some strip journaling if you needed to. I'm going to use some embellishments now too. So I have a layered butterfly left over from another project. I'm going to add that beside the cut apart one. You can see I added my stitching there to my little faux washi tape tags. And now just some stickers. I like these gold hearts from this sticker sheet. And so I'm going to add a few of those throughout my page just to add a little bit of shine. And they're just like the perfect size. So a few of those stickers. Now washi is another good thing to use for layering. So I'm going to use a little bit of this teal because there's just a little bit of the gap underneath that title. So I'm going to add a little bit of that there. And then behind where this torn edge is of this 4x6 card, I added a little bit of that gold washi just to peek behind that little section. It's just enough to add a little bit of a sparkle. I wanted to use another layer butterfly, so I cracked out another package that I had in my stash. And so I'm going to stick these down here. And those are just so pretty. I just didn't want to have two there that are that same coral color. I wanted to break them apart. So I did that. And now I'm trying to see if there's anything else in that puffy sticker sheet that I wanted to use. So I'm going to add a little bit of black ink just to the back, just to kind of just stress the background a little bit more. Didn't have a chance to bring out my black art crayons, but that would look really great as well if you had some watered down art crayon. That's a good alternative to the ink. So that's how everything came together on this one. You can see I used many different types of cut aparts on my project this time. I did add some enamel dots to the center of those tags and a few along my project as well. And I really like how this one turned out. I used some storyteller stamps there to fill in that journaling card. And that's how this one came together. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you again next week with another new project. Bye-bye.